Hey guys, welcome to core and glute strengthening weeks 1 through 4 for TS2 coaching. These are the exercises in the routine that we'd like you to get in the habit of doing either before or after each and every one of your runs that you complete to work on core strength, core stability, and glute strength, as well as glute stabilization, which we think is really going to help improve your running, your cycling, and your durability as an athlete with us. So the first exercise is a standing good morning. I'm going to show you from my knees so that you can get a better idea of what this exercise looks like. The important thing is that we're warming up the hamstring as well as activating the glutes, and so we want to keep your lower back nice and flat the entire time. There are times that you do this exercise with weight. This is not one of them. We're just going to do this with body weight. So either from standing or on your knees, what you're going to do is hinge at the hips, meaning you're going to push your glutes backwards, keep your back nice and flat, and then come back up, squeezing your glutes as you come up, bending forward and squeezing. You're going to do this about 20 times. And you want your eyes to be slightly ahead of you the entire time. Excellent. From there, the rest of our work will be on a mat. I recommend, because we will have some work on our knees, that you have a mat with you the entire time. Our next exercise is fire hydrants, backs nice and flat, knees under your hips and hands under your shoulders. We're gonna lift our leg out to one side with your knee bent and bring it back down. This is a fire hydrant. We want to do 20 each side. And then switching to the other side. And then coming back to the same position, this time we're gonna bring our knee out to the side and bring it into our elbow. So we're coming back to the starting position, bring your knee to your elbow. And we're gonna do 20 of these as well. Switching to the other side. Same position, switching back. What we want is the knee bent again, and we want our foot to stay flexed. And so what we're gonna do is switch to donkey kickbacks. You're gonna bring your leg up, squeezing the glute as you raise up and bring the knee back. Extending with a powerful motion back, heel towards the ceiling and bring it forward. 20 each side. then switching to the other side. The important thing to remember is you want to feel this in your glutes and work on activating those glute muscles. Being intentional the entire time you're doing this routine. From here, we're gonna lower down into a plank position. Option for you is to stay up on your hands for a plank. I like to come down to my forearms to that arrow position. For plank, working on the position that I will be riding in. And we're gonna hold this for 45 seconds. If this is not an option for you, feel free to come down to your knees. What you wanna be is on the top of your knees, and we wanna keep those glutes engaged the entire time. By keeping your glutes engaged, we're gonna prevent this from happening, which when your butt comes up in the air, takes out the ability for this exercise to be a core exercise and decreases the amount of core that you're using. So we'll hold here, count your 45 seconds, and when you've done 45 seconds, we're gonna switch to a side plank. Side plank has quite a few options. You can do a modified side plank. We're gonna hold each side for 45 seconds as well. You can do a modified side plank with your knee down. You can stagger your feet with one back and one forward, or you can stack your feet. As we progress through this, you can also lift a leg. Option to have your hand up, hand at your side, or assisting you by putting a fist in front. 45 seconds on one side. Again, we want to make sure our core is nice and tight, that we're not sticking our butt back behind us. You always want to keep your glutes engaged through all this core work. And you'll hold 45 seconds on this side and turn over and hold 45 seconds on the other side. Again, coming through either a modified side plank, a staggered side plank, or feet stacked side plank. Holding for 45 seconds. And when your 45 seconds is done, we're gonna come back to that side plank, and this time you're going to do a modified side plank. So your knee is going to be on the ground, elbow underneath your shoulder. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this top leg and we're gonna lift it up and tap back down 10 times. And then switching to the other side, same thing. Making sure we're not dipping our glute down. That's not what we want. We want to hold our core nice and tight while we raise our leg up and down. Excellent. Coming to a front plank, this time we're gonna add movement. So you're gonna push back into a plank, or a pike position, and then come forward to plank and stop your motion there. Push back to pike, forward to plank, 20 of these. And when you've done your 20, we're gonna come all the way down to the ground. I like to have my arms in goalpost position for Superman's because a lot of us have trouble with our shoulders rotating forward. So I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, tucking my shoulder blades, into my back pocket, and we're gonna hold Superman's up off the ground for 45 seconds. So you're gonna lift your legs up, engaging your lower back and your glutes, and your upper body up off the ground, and hold. If this is too much for your lower back, keep your legs down and hold up, or opposite, keep your arms down and hold your legs up. Option is also to add movement, so squeezing back and coming down, squeezing back and coming down. And then when you've held that for 45 seconds, you're gonna bring your knees out to the side of your mat, bring your heels together, and lift your legs up and hold, squeezing your glutes, hands on the ground or hands up, 30 seconds with this prone frog hold. And you can see I'm shaking during this one. This is pretty difficult, or it should be at this point in time. Excellent. Releasing down from here, we're going to turn over and do flutter kicks. Your option is to have your hand under your lower back for support. The important part of flutter kicks is that your legs stay straight, your toes are going to be pointed, and the motion comes from your hips, not from your knees. So it's not a kick, it's a flutter. So I like to have my hands under my back for support, head back on the ground in order to make sure my lower back is protected. Your option is also to keep your hands out to the side for more stability, and some people do choose to bring their head off the ground. But what we've got is 45 seconds, toes pointed, flutter kicks. Nice and low. The higher and the more separation you bring in your legs, the easier the exercise will be. And again, you can lift that off the ground for an extra shake. Not a problem there. 45 seconds. And when you've completed your 45 seconds, we're gonna go into a hollow hold, meaning your legs are just gonna hold up off the ground, as are your arms, and you're gonna hold here for 30 to 45 seconds. And when you've completed that, what we'll do is feet flat on the ground to end this core routine. Hands on the ground, you're gonna lift your hips up in a glute bridge, and you're gonna squeeze your glutes, making sure your knees are not flaring out, keeping your knees together, hips nice and square and flat, and you're gonna hold this for 45 seconds. When you've completed your 45 seconds, that is it for this routine. If you're using this after your run, this is a great time to add in some stretching or foam rolling, which is always important. If you use this prior to your run, it's a great way to activate your glutes and work on being not so quad dominant when we run. So enjoy. This is super important to your durability. It doesn't take very long, but it's one of the little things that you can do to make your training that much more effective.